excuse me. This is a very topical Failure Friday that we're having because we've had a lot of technical issues. I've had to do this introduction like 4 times now, I think. Okay, so today I am interviewing Soni, who's going to give us some real life examples of how you can deal with when you have a goal and you're not really sure how to get there, what to keep in mind, what to focus on so that ultimately you can get that goal. And the reason why I bring this up is because I have myself encountered this with my experience, my personal experience, as well as with people that I work with, young adults who are very confused about what they want to do. They got some clarity about they know that they have some type of work out there that would have them fulfilled and they'd feel excited and enjoy doing and happy to do, but they're not sure how to find that and how to get there. And so the other thing that I see with that is they're really afraid of trying things because they're worried about making the wrong choice and they're worried about changing again later. And what I want to invite you to have a new relationship with is being a little bit relaxed about trying, failing a little bit. Maybe you're going to switch and that's okay. And so I will bring on Soni now. And hope it works. Okay. I think this works. Now, you tell me, hopefully you can't hear yourself.
I can hear myself.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to turn it down really low then.
Okay.
Hopefully that works. Anyway, this is something that I'm learning as we go, and this is part of trying and failing and learning. Next time I will definitely make sure I have my headphones. Okay, so Soni, the reason I wanted to have you on is because I know you had a great life experience specifically in the area of dating and having to try a lot of different things to get to your ultimate goal of finding a committed lifelong partner. And so I'm hoping you can just set the stage of what happened in the lead up to getting to the place where you had to start entering the dating stage.
Sure. So I was born in India and I lived the first 10 years of my life in India. And then my family moved to Dubai. So I spent the next 10 years of my life till I was almost 19 there. And I was brought up in a conservative Indian family. So at the age of 19, I got married and it was an arranged marriage. And that's when I moved to Texas. I was married for about 22 years. For the most part of it, it was I would say probably the first year or so was good. But for the most part, it was a toxic marriage. And I continued to try hard to make it work. And ultimately, after 22 years, I just kind of gave up. And that's when, in my 40s, I was 42 when I got divorced. And after being married for 22 years, for the first time ever, I had never dated. I entered the dating scene. And it was crazy because I had never dated. And then you throw in the mix the dating apps and just a whole new world of dating with online dating, etc. I just was lost.
Yeah. Okay, good. So tell us were you pretty clear on what you knew? At least your goal was to find a loving relationship, committed relationship, get married again.
Correct. Yes.
Right? And so what was your first approach to dating? I know we talked earlier and you said it was kind of trial and error at first.
Yes.
And tell us how that went.
Yes, so it was trial and error. And actually, I didn't even know I was doing anything wrong. So I just went about dating and just kind of doing what I saw growing up, like my parents' dynamics in the relationship. I basically never had a good role model as far as relationships were concerned. So I approached dating as if I would approach a job, like very much in my masculine, chasing man, calling, texting, planning, just being the social coordinator of the relationship. And I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. I thought that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
So obviously I just encountered failures after failures. Things were not working out.
And so what did you have to do at a certain point? What did you decide you had to do? Like, I assume you decided, okay, I need to change my approach here.
Right. So after 2 years of dating and not getting any results, I just kind of got online and again went and read a couple of books and read some blogs, basically all the free stuff that's on the internet. I tried to make a use of that and tried to tweak a little bit here and there and make things work, but still nothing really worked because I was still, I'd never heard of masculine and feminine energy. It may sound really bizarre, but I didn't even know what that was until I actually started researching and looking, Googling online about relationships and dating. So definitely I was just, how when you're in corporate, they take the bull by its horns and approach, like go for what you want. And that's what I was doing with dating, and that wasn't working at all. So after wasting several years, 2 years, I knew I had to do something differently to find my soulmate and be in that loving relationship and ultimately get married. I had to do things differently. Mm-hmm. So that's where the transformation journey began for me.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you got to a point where you knew you had to get some help.
Right. Because every time I would go on a couple of dates and the guys would be like, well, you're a really nice woman, but I'm not just feeling it for you, or I'm not ready. This is not what I'm looking for. It's not about you. You're a wonderful woman. You deserve better, blah, blah, blah. The same old, same things I would hear over and over again. And I would get off the dating sites for a couple of months, get back on, and again,
throw the towel in.
Same thing. Nothing would change.
Right. Nothing had changed to your approach. You were just hoping that something would be different.
Right. I would find better men because I never thought that I was doing anything wrong.
Right. Okay, good. Okay, great. So that's a great example of why people hire coaches. And I know you hired a coach in the end to help you with this dating because you were not getting the result that you wanted.
Right.
And you decided, okay, I've been reading books and some resources, but I think I need maybe some feedback and like a community.
Right.
So tell us about when you started coaching with a dating coach, I guess you call it. What were some of the top things that you learned that you implemented that made a difference and you started seeing the difference?
Right. So I basically learned about the romantic relationships dynamics, how romantic relationships work. I learned what attracts men, how men think, what their commitment timeline is. Basically, just this whole new world opened up for me that I never knew was out there. And what was the key for me was I had this accountability with other people in the community and with my coach that kept me on track. So when things felt uncomfortable, when I got to a point where I got frustrated, because when you start the transformation process, things just don't change overnight. It's a process. It takes a while because for so many years you're wired to do things in a certain way, and all of a sudden you have to start doing things in a different way. It takes time for the changes to happen. Mm-hmm. Your mindset changes and how you show up in the world. So every time I would have this fear of giving up, I had this accountability. No, you need to keep going. You're doing the right things. Yes, it takes a while for you to see the results, but keep going. So that was huge for me.
Okay. Great. So there's two other things that I wanted to talk about that we talked about previously that works into this. And the first one is the importance of clarity
Right.
on helping you, clarity and then belief. Um, so you mentioned that something that you found really helpful was really getting clear about the kind of person that you wanted to be, what it looked like, and tell us about how that helped you in your approach, and I guess learning that, how that helped you ultimately find Larry.
Right. So clarity is very important, be it finding a soulmate or a perfect job. When we're not clear, we basically send out mixed signals to the universe, and we don't get what we are actually looking for. Just having clarity, basically.
Because you don't really know what you're looking for.
Right,
You haven't
right.
actually been
So
clear
it's
about it.
very.
You just know that's not it, that's not it, that's not
Right,
it.
right. So for me, it was basically writing down and getting clarity of how I wanted to feel in this relationship, not basically a checklist, and not kind of rejecting men just based on it was so how I would like to put it is not based on physical appearances or qualities. It's not like a checklist, but just how I wanted to feel in the relationship. So I basically wrote down how I would like to feel in the relationship, and then I went out and dated, but I didn't I let men go who didn't meet that criteria, having this belief that the one that I want is out there for me.
Okay, that's actually a good example because that can also happen with young people finding
Right,
jobs.
absolutely.
Because without the clarity of what they really do want and
Mm-hmm.
spending that time
Right,
consistently clarifying that and writing it down and taking that time to do that, it's really easy to, when a job comes along, to be like holding on to it and be like, oh, I think, I need to hold on to this because I don't know what else, or
right,
what if I don't find something else.
right, right. And that kind of ties into that scarcity mindset that I was also in when I was trying to find a soulmate. It's like when we try to hang on to something, thinking that there is, oh, I'm not going to find a man better than this. So let me just settle. He has like 5 out of 10 qualities for what I'm looking for, but knowing that no, what you really desire is out there, and let me not hang on to this thing and have been this scarcity mindset that I will not find, or this man is the last man on the planet. So it goes for the job too, right? Like we try to settle in life, but what I have learned is let go of things that are not exactly what you're looking for, because what you have really desire is out there for you. And every time you let go of something that's not working, you're one step closer to your dream man, dream job, dream house, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. And the key part that stood out for me was the clarity is power thing. And that's a thing that I
Right,
encounter, one with myself in the past, and also people that I work with, young adults who are looking for clarity in their lives, is they don't have the accountability, or they just don't take the time to get clear, or they don't really know where to start.
right.
So clarity piece was really important in that aspect too. So that also plays into, yes, you can have the clarity on what you
Mm-hmm.
want, but at the same time, there's a big part of the belief that I encounter with people I work with as well, where there's things in the past that haven't gone well, and or they've switched before a lot of times, and they're starting to not trust their own
Right.
judgment, and they have fairly weak belief that they can, and certainty that they can find
Mm-hmm.
what it is they desire in that kind of work. So maybe tell us a bit about what you learned
Mm-hmm.
of the importance of strengthening
Right.
belief, and how you held on to the belief that,
Mm-hmm.
and the faith eventually you
Right.
would find it.
I really liked how you brought past experiences into this, because that was something that I had to get over. Um, we kind of always go back to our past experiences when things are not working. So to me, especially when you are learning new ways of doing things, you have to know that you have different knowledge. And you're not slave of your past. So you know things, different things than you knew before. So your experiences are not going to be like your past experiences because you have grown as a person, especially when you work with a coach, you learn new ways of doing things and you're not the same person. So you're not a slave of your past is huge to know this, that you're not the same person you were before, you're a different person, and therefore you will have different experiences. And that's what kind of ties into that belief factor that something I talk about is when a desire enters your heart, it's the universes or the God, whoever you have a faith, a higher power than you desires that for you. That's why the desire has come to you in the first place. So it's out there for you. And having your belief being bigger than your doubt is huge. So because you've had this desire in you to do whatever it is that you want to do, it's out there for you. And the key is to believe that it's there, because we can want a lot of things and not everything that we want we get. But when our belief is bigger than our doubt, we do get what we believe in. Because basically it's not giving up when things don't work out. So trust in the process, believe in the process, and not give up if my coach taught me that if it doesn't work out with one man, it's okay. Believe in the process, keep on your journey, do not stop.
Yeah. And one of the things that, okay, yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I have the belief, but how do I really strengthen that? And I know we've talked about some stuff that is fairly common. I mean, in our circles of actually practicing feeling that belief in terms of affirmations and really regularly practicing that, so that because neuroscience wise, that actually does help if you're continually having those patterns fire. And also, what are some suggestions that you have in terms of like looking up other examples or looking at role models or whatnot to strengthen that belief?
Right. So basically, again, I go back to the coaching example because you're a part of a community. And what happens is when you see what happened for me was when I saw other women succeed, get engaged, find their soulmates, being in this loving married life, I knew if it can happen for her, it can happen for me too. Because she's not special, I'm special too. We are all designed equally. We all our desires are worthy. So it's not that just one person is worthy of this and the other person is not. So just seeing that every day play in front of you is what helped me strengthen my belief that it's out there and not give up. And also, all of us have different timelines. So it's not because it worked for her in 4 months, I will give up because I started this work 6 months back and I haven't gotten as far as she did. No, it's just all of us have our own timing, our own divine timing that it's going to manifest or it's going to work out for us. Be it finding a job, finding a soulmate, having a successful business.
Courtney, thank you for commenting. Also, you're watching. Yeah, that is great. What was I going to say about that? The timing, yeah. And it's a great point to bring up because, especially now with social media and younger people who've grown up with it so much, it is very easy to look at all these examples of people doing things. Like if you look on your phone for 5 minutes, you can see 100 examples of people doing things.
Absolutely.
Starting a business, they're the best photographer in LA or whatever. And it's really easy to be like, oh my gosh, I have nothing. I don't know what I want to do. What is my thing? And that's one of the things I'm doing on Wednesdays is I'm bringing somebody who specifically didn't know what they wanted to do for work in their 20s. And then they went on a journey. And so I think we'll close a little bit. I guess, do you have what were kind of like the top three things that you think attributed to your success towards your goal in the end, that you learned, or certain trait or something that you had to remember during the process to keep going and ultimately get there? Because winners never quit and quitters never
That's
quit.
right. So for me, I think it was huge was just believing that my man is out there for me. That was huge. Not giving up when things got difficult and making myself uncomfortable and doing things out of my comfort zone was huge, because I was a people pleaser. I did not know how to say no. And that's huge attraction killer. So I had to make myself uncomfortable and say no to
Attraction
things,
killer.
and also have strong boundaries. So basically just doing things differently, trusting in the process, and knowing that this man is out there for me because I know it.
Great. Yeah. Trusting and belief is a really big thing.
And getting
It's a great
uncomfortable
example.
and not letting fear stop you, because
Yes.
fear's
And being able to notice
right, and fear's job is just to keep you safe and
and
not
stuck.
right stuck.
Yeah, that's a big thing because a lot of the people that I interact with and help, they are stuck because they are spinning in fear and they're like, oh, I like this thing, but what if? And I like this thing, but what if? And they're not doing anything
Right.
and they're still stuck.
Yes.
And so that's part of why I bring people like you on, Sony, is to show real life examples that people, the young people, anybody watching can refer to and think, oh yeah, how would she approach this? And just get those examples and to instill that belief that it is possible to get and find that kind of work that you really enjoy. So thank you very much for your time, Sony. In this caption on this video, I'll add information about you, Sony.
Uh-huh.
Sony also has a dating coaching service that she offers for professional women, and you can go find out more about her there. And if you're watching this, please, I'd love to see your comments, things that resonated with you, even just a little like, woo woo, I watched. And if you have any questions about coaching, specifically in life direction and life purpose and life clarity, send a message to me whenever you're ready.
And thank you, Caitlin, for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much. We ultimately
Yes,
got
we
it to
did.
work. Okay, well, have a great weekend,
Okay.
everybody. And thank you, Courtney and Lindsay, for your comments and seeing you here. It was so great to know that you were here. And we'll see you soon.